So big dog Kyle Kulinski of Secular Talk, he was speaking about Bernie Sanders in his 2020 campaign. So check out what he had to say.
Bernie was successful in that he just created at least a million new Bernie Sanders. That's how Bernie Sanders was successful, is that he let people know that it is possible to be involved in the system and still hold on to your values and your principles. So he awakened a lot of people, and for that we owe him a debt of gratitude. But I would argue that's as far as his successes go. That's it. It doesn't go beyond that. Why? Because he didn't win. You could make the case that in 2016 that maybe that wasn't the ultimate goal. That, he could win without winning in 2016. I don't think you can make that case this time. I think that winning is winning. I do. And I think that winning had to be winning the White House, not just the primary. Now, I always said that the primary is going to be harder for Bernie to get through than the general, but you wouldn't have heard me call what Bernie's doing a success, full stop, unless and until he's in the White House. Because I'm not in the business of moral victories. And maybe this sets me apart from other people on the left, but to some extent, some people on the left are comfortable being a subculture and a subgroup. I'm not. I'm interested in winning. I'm interested in governing. And that doesn't mean you sell out your principles to get there. Quite the opposite. You have to hold your principles and get elected. That's the chess game. That's what's difficult to figure out. That's where you got to get all the pieces, all the moving pieces in the right place. And you're walking a tightrope. It's difficult, but that's what we're in this for. And I want people on the left to get to the point where we're all on the same page and we all agree, no, the ultimate goal is winning. And then, by the way, let me go a step further. The ultimate goal actually isn't just winning. The ultimate goal is to get these policies implemented. So,
Kyle's spot on, man, per usual. I find myself agreeing with Kyle on like 99% of issues. Like, I love Kyle Kulinski. And this is well within that 99%. I completely agree with him on this. So, he first makes the point that, yes, Bernie woke people up. Right? He woke people up to the reality of the political system, the economic system. The system's rigged. We understand that. Right? 4 years ago, that wasn't the conversation we were having. We weren't having conversations about Medicare for all. We weren't having conversations about a $15 minimum wage. We weren't having conversations about a Green New Deal. This wasn't the conversation. The Democratic Party was a corporate neoliberal party to its core. That's what it was. Right? The triangulation, the moderate corporatism of Obama, when you had Citigroup approved people literally regulating the people that they just come from. That's what the Democratic Party represented. Bernie was able to significantly move the needle. He did that in 2016, and he did it again in 2020. Right now, you're at the point where in exit polls in every primary, every single one this year, a majority of people said, yes, we support Medicare for all. Majority. That's huge, right? When you have a vast majority of people across the nation saying, I support tuition-free college, I support a Green New Deal, I support a living wage. That's huge. That's huge. Those are the issues clearly where there's a solid coalition. Progressive economic populism. That's the solid coalition, a majority, a progressive majority. And Bernie went a long way in awakening that progressive majority that's just kind of lying asleep right now. He went a long way in moving the needle on that and awakening people to the reality that we need progressive change in this country. But again, I agree with Kyle in saying that that wasn't the goal. It wasn't just moving the needle. It wasn't just, sparking conversation. Like, as he said, we don't need to be like some subculture. We don't need to be the fringe. We're not the fringe. The American people agree with us on the issues. It's abundantly clear. Look at the opinion polls. When you have 60% of people wanting to legalize weed, when you have 60% of people wanting tuition-free college, when you have 70, 80% of people wanting to raise taxes on the rich and the corporations, when you have people wanting to not bail out Wall Street, when you have people wanting to have a Green New Deal, the people agree with us. So if you run on those issues and if you run in a politically savvy way where you're able to pivot and market yourself in a way that appeals to all voters and not just your base, you win. And then you get everything that we've been talking about, all these fantasies about Medicare for all, tuition-free college, they become reality. We were at the precipice of having all of these progressive policies that we've been talking about for decades become reality. That's what Bernie was so close to doing, but he failed. And I don't think that's his campaign's fault. I think that's, in large respects, Bernie's fault. He's a statesman. He is who he is. He's very, very principled. And the way Bernie operates, he comes from the MLK era. He's been told, and his whole ideology is, I'm going to turn the other cheek. When you go low, I go high. So when the establishment media had open disdain for everything that you stood for, right? When you swept Iowa, you swept New Hampshire, you swept Nevada, you had people literally writing hit pieces across mainstream media saying, oh my God, this guy might win. Oh my God, this guy might win. It was your job now to say, this is why y'all suck, and just put the foot right on their necks. This is why you suck. Market yourself and say, we're the real moderates. This is why you should vote for us. We're electable. Pivot, pivot, pivot. Be aggressive towards your opposition. Call them corrupt. Reveal them for the corporate sellouts that they are. And then in turn, pivot, pivot, pivot in your strategy, not your policy. The policy is winnable. So market the policy in a way that appeals to all the voters and not just your base. You should have dropped the socialist tag long ago. You should have been calling yourself the real moderate. You should have been calling Joe Biden Hillary Clinton 2.0. These are the strategies that you should have been implementing long before Super Tuesday. But instead, he barely went negative after Super Tuesday and still called him my friend and still decided to say on national TV that Joe Biden can beat Donald Trump. He played the unity game. He played their game. And ultimately, that's why he lost. We were so close. And that's what's so frustrating about it. Because the left can win if we run the right campaign. If you run in a way that markets yourselves and expands the coalitions, right? People are scared of you because the media tells them to be so. People are scared of you. They're told, oh, Bernie can't win. Progressive policies can't win. The country isn't ready for that yet. So you have to say, actually, no. Make it and hammer it over and over and over again in this case that the opinion polls are abundantly clear. People support us. The country supports us. We do overwhelmingly well with independents, with young voters. These are the coalitions that you need to win elections. We are the ones who can win, not the tired corporate neoliberal strategy of the past. You have to make that case. It has to be the center of your case along with the policy. And that has to be what the left moves towards moving forward. Along with being far more organized, far more consolidated, and having an inside-outside game. Right? Where you have the right political strategy, you're marketing yourselves, you're expanding the tent, but you also have people in the streets fighting on your behalf. You have protesters, you have general strikes, you have demonstrations, you have a mass mobilization of people showing the energy of your movement, showing that your movement will not quit, but that you also have the political savvy to play the media game, to play the marketing game, and expand the coalition even beyond that activist stripe of your support. If you do that, and Bernie failed to do that, that's why he lost. But if you do that, you win. There's a progressive majority in this country that is waiting to be awoken from their long slumber. And it's on us, all of us in the left, to use the right strategy to get there.
With the boys, yeah, we making all this noise. Can't complain, riding in the fast lane. To the top, we don't stop up till past 5 o'clock. Smoking.